Hey, what's up y'all? It's Taylor. Welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all have been having a wonderful week. I feel like I've been doing pretty good with the uploading. I have to admit, I'm a little proud of myself because consistency is hard. But as promised, and I'm very excited to be doing this video. This video means a lot to me. I feel like I've had almost a year of research for this video. And it's finally here, and it might be a little lengthy. I'm assuming it might be a little lengthy, only because I have so much information for you guys. Seriously, I have like a clipboard right here, just of everything that I've accumulated. I've talked to people, the whole 9 yards. This is the video that is the routes that are available to you, the routes and opportunities that you can take right out of cosmetology school. I get a lot of questions that say, what are you going to do? Or people who are in cosmetology school that don't know the options that are available to them. And I've found these because these are the questions that I've been asking. These are the concerns that I've had, and I have pros and cons for both. Don't you worry. And these pros and cons are not really biased. It's more like, I don't say cons as in they're negative. It's just something that you might want to consider. And I think that the word cons derived from considerations. I really do. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is share with you the different options you have. And then after I share with you those options and the pros and cons of each, and I'm going to have some questions for you to ask yourself and answer yourself. And things that you really need to consider. Very important. I honestly think that it is the most important job of your career. It can set you up for success and it can set you up for failure. What you don't want to do is job hop, salon hop, go from one to the next. You want to be able to build a clientele, build relationships, and learn. The analogy that was given to me was cosmetology school is like high school. Your first year or two right out of school is like college, and then your career starts after that. Because in cosmetology school, you learn one way of how to do something, and that's the way that your instructor teaches you and the way that state board wants you to test out. There are thousands of different ways to do things. So don't think that you will be able to just bang it out, and you might, but I really believe that you still have a lot to learn. I still have a lot to learn, and to be able to take your first job right out of school as an opportunity for growth, in my opinion, is most important. So these are the different routes that are available to you as a cosmetologist, whether you're right out of school or not. The first one is called booth rent. Now, booth rent is essentially you are your own boss. You can go into a salon that is booth rent, and you essentially rent your own station. So there are tons of other stylists in this building, but each stylist is his own boss. Yes, they have people that they have to pay their rent to and stuff like this, but essentially you are your own boss. You book your own clients. You don't really have a receptionist. You book your own clients. You provide your own color. You provide your own tools. You don't have to pay anything really but a booth rent, which depending on your area, it can be $100 a week. It can be $150 a week. It can be $1,000 a month. It totally depends on your location, but that's essentially what booth rent is. You are your own boss. The pros of booth rent, in my opinion, are obviously that you're independent. You really don't have somebody standing over you. You're really not having to follow like corporate guidelines. You're able to pretty much be free in what you want to do. Like I said, you don't really have many restrictions, and because you are your own boss, you can take off when you want to, you can book clients when you want to, you can decide that you only want to be in the salon 3 days a week and you only want to be there 5 hours a day. Now, on the other hand, you literally only get what you work for. There is nobody paying you hourly. And that's a con, so I need to get back on track. Sorry. You have time freedom, you are in 100% control, and this is what I thought that I wanted to do right out of school. And like I said, no one is taking a percentage of your earnings. If you charge $150 for a highlight, I don't know. If you charge $150 for a highlight, you are pocketing $150. Technically, because you have a ton of overhead. But that's the assumption, is you pocket 100% of what you make, and it's true. The only thing that's coming out of that $150 highlight is whatever the booth rent is for that week or that month or whatever contract that you've set up. These are the considerations that I didn't really think about whenever I thought that I wanted to go booth rent. Since you are your own boss, you are a 1099 boo. You have to pay double Social Security tax. So since you are self-employed, you have a 1099. You usually, when you work, and you have a W-2, whatever, you pay 7.5% Social Security tax, and your employer matches and pays the other 7.5%. When you are self-employed, you pay the full 15% Social Security tax. So that is one thing to consider. You're going to be paying double Social Security tax. You are not going to have an employer that's going to be able to offer you retirement, benefits, insurance, things like that. You are your own boss, and if you want those things, you are fully responsible for those things. That's another reason why a lot of people, they don't want to go the booth rent route, because they don't have maternity leave. Let's say you get hurt or you have surgery and you're out for 3 weeks. You're not being compensated for those 3 weeks. You don't have workers' comp. So, because you don't have an employer that is offering you those things. So if you don't work, you don't get paid. There's a ton of overhead. So there's an assumption that booth renters just make tons and tons and tons of money. Like, let's say you bring in $100,000 in services for the year. $100,000? Like, oh my gosh, they're making bank. But the truth is, if you are properly running a business, your own business, and you are investing in things like insurance, and I'm talking not just like health insurance, but you need insurance for yourself, like liability, if somebody sues you, these types of things. So you have to think you're going to be pouring into your own, maybe your own retirement insurance, health insurance, which would be a lot more. You're going to be covering all of your overhead costs, not just your booth rent. That's not the overhead. The inventory, the stock, the color, developer, bowls, brushes, your tools, and tools can be thousands of dollars. All of these things you have to provide, and you have to keep up with it. You are also your own accountant. You're your own bookkeeper. You have to book your appointments. Go to the shop. Go to Salon Centric, Armstrong McCall, order all your supplies, every 2 to 3 days, because sometimes you don't know what you need if you haven't booked somebody. You have tons of stuff. You also want to be pouring into continued education. You do need to hire an accountant. Maybe you want an assistant. Whatever, you are responsible for all of these things, for providing all of these things and paying for all of these things. So, I saw this breakdown, and if you are successfully running a booth rental position, you're going to have about 51% of what you make going into all of that overhead cost. 51%. So if you brought in that $100,000, we're making it easy. $51,000 is your overhead. You profit $49,000 before taxes. Remember, like I said, you're going to pay double Social Security tax. So typically you're going to be taking out a little bit more than what you're used to. Like if you were just like, you know, a W-2 employee. So now that $49,000 is starting to kind of look like $41,000, $39,000, whatever. I don't know the tax bracket that you and your family fall into, but the point is that there's a lot of overhead and a lot more to think about than, oh my gosh, I get to make my own schedule and I'm gonna be able to pocket everything. No, you're not. Booth rental is a great thing if you are already in that position where you have a booming clientele, you know how to successfully run your own business, and maybe it's trial and error, maybe you need to figure it out, or maybe you're in a point in time where your husband is able to offer you benefits and insurance and whatever it may be. Maybe you're at a point in your life where that is the best option for you and your family, and it's okay if, you know, you're okay with doing all of those things and having all of those things taken out. I'm okay with doing those things. Right out of school? Absolutely not. But I would be maybe in the future. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm saying, oh my God, don't ever do booth rent, but these are just things that you want to consider. Don't think that booth rent is all daisies and roses and unicorns. No, you are running your own business. You're not just a hairstylist. You're not just walking in there and, you know, doing people's hair. You are taking care of everything. So you have a lot going on. And you only get out what you put in. Somebody's not paying you $8 to $10 an hour to sweep the floor. Somebody's not paying you $8 to $10 an hour to sit in your chair and wait for somebody to walk in. No, you're there on your own time if you haven't built a clientele and you're not getting paid, but you want to be there. I'm telling you, it's like a catch-22. Well, I don't know what you call that. What is that called? I'm not sure. You have pros of booth rental and you have considerations of booth rental. I'm just helping you lay it out there and really think about it. Another option and route that you can go is a commission salon or a corporate salon. So we're going to first talk about corporate, because I feel like commission can kind of lean into the other one that I'm going to be talking about after this. But so a corporate salon will be like Ulta, Smart Cuts, Fantastic Sam, Sports Clips, Master Cuts, Smart Style, that's what I meant to say, Regis. Those are corporate salons. The pros of corporate salons is you are a W-2 employee, you have an employer, you show up to work and you clock in and you clock out, and you don't have to take it home with you, and you don't have to order anything. Like, you don't have to order stock and inventory or anything like that. You show up to work, you clock in, you do what you got to do, and you leave, and that's it. When you are in a corporate salon, I don't know how most corporate salons work. Let's just say that you're full-time. So if you're a full-time employee, hairstylist at a corporate salon, you will get benefits. You know, you'll get insurance, 401k, retirement. So these are huge benefits. Usually you'll get maternity leave and, you know, workers' compensation if you get hurt. All of these types of things are very, very important to a lot of people, especially people who have families and kids. So that is one of the benefits of working in a corporate salon. Like I mentioned before, you're not responsible for ordering all of the color, ordering all of the back stock. You know, maybe your salon manager is, maybe the store manager is, I'm not exactly sure, but you as a stylist can show up and enjoy being a hairstylist and not having to worry about the business aspect of being a stylist. In a lot of corporate salons, there are many growth opportunities. So I know just from what my instructor has said, she used to work at JCPenney salon. I know a little bit about Ulta's growth opportunities. So a lot of times in a corporate salon, let's say you start out as a stylist or a designer. And if you do so many things, like let's say you have so many rebooks, or you have, you've brought in so much money in services, so much profit in services for that week, or maybe you had some retail sales, so many new clients, conversions. Whenever you reach these certain levels of productivity, you get to jump a level. And so maybe you're not just a designer, maybe you're a senior designer or master stylist or whatever it is. And usually whenever you jump these ranks, you get to raise your prices and you also get to raise your commission. So there's always incentive to do better and to do more and to grow yourself as a stylist. And they're not going to just take advantage of that. Some will, but they're going to reward you for that. They're going to reward hard work. So that's a great thing about, being in a corporate salon, is they are rewarding hard work and you have opportunities to grow. And not just for, jumping levels. You can become a salon manager, you can become a district manager, a district, educational trainer, and you can travel around the United States and teach other salons. So there's many great opportunities that are available for corporate salons. Another good thing about corporate salons is you have an hourly and commission. So most of the time, they have to compensate you, since you are an employee, they have to compensate you for the time that you're there, even if you don't have clients, because you're not just taking clients. You're sweeping floors, you're doing laundry, you're folding towels, you're cleaning bowls, you're mopping floors, scrubbing down cabinets. You have a lot going on, organizing things. So they have to pay you for that. I don't know what every corporate salon does. I would assume it's usually between $8 to $11 an hour is what they're gonna pay you. And that's just what I hear in my area. I don't know about your area. I'm in South Mississippi. So they're gonna pay you hourly. They're also gonna pay you commission. Some salons, they'll pay you hourly and commission, and some salons will pay you one or the other. So let's say that your hourly pay for 40 hours a week, let me just do math real quick. Let's say, let me do math real quick. I'm not gonna do that one. I'll just do something easy. Let's say that you are getting paid $10 an hour and you work 40 hours a week. Easily, that's $400 a week, okay? Let's say you get 45% commission and you brought in $1,000 in services. That's $450 that you would have made on commission. So instead of paying you the $400, they're gonna pay you the $450. They're gonna pay you whatever is higher. So some salons will pay you both. Usually if they pay you both, you get less commission. It might be like 30% plus your hourly. And some corporate salons, they'll just do one or the other, whichever one is higher. So at the end of the day, if you get paid $10 an hour, guaranteed, you're going to get at least $400 a week, at least. The more you work, the more clients you take, the more services you provide, or the more retail sales you have, you're gonna get paid more. So the security definitely is a huge pro for working with a corporate salon. You also get paid retail commissions, and by retail I mean hairsprays, shampoos and conditioners, whatever your salon offers in retail, in salon professional products. If you sell those, you tack them on to your service, you're gonna get a commission of that. Sometimes you get the commission on the product. Sometimes if you sell so many per customer and you do it at least, average 2 per customer or per service for the week or whatever, then they'll give you an additional percentage on your services commission. So every salon is different, but those are a couple of the pros of working for a corporate salon. Oh, one more thing. Corporate salons always have education, free education and free trainings, which is huge. So they're constantly wanting their stylists to do better, to learn more, because obviously the more information and education that you have as a stylist, the happier your clients are going to be. If you're booth rent, you have to purchase this education this continued education on your own. A lot of classes are $50 to $500 to $1,000. So you're gonna get this education for free if you're working in a corporate salon. Some of the cons or considerations that, what I think is important to know working with the corporate salon is you are an employee and you have to 100% abide by your employer's guidelines, rules, the contract, whatever. You don't really have a lot of freedom, but this is like with any job. Usually you have to abide by corporate policies and procedures. Some of the cons that, the considerations that I had was marketing for myself. I like to do a lot of videos, so I know that I wouldn't be able to film or video market in a corporate salon because videoing is not really allowed in stores or definitely in salons, and they don't want, clients to be filmed. Even if a client is okay with that, you can't have your phone, you're not really allowed to take pictures. You can, but you're not really like documenting everything. It's kind of like an after picture, and even then I think they just now, they're okay with it, knowing that social media has completely, blown up the beauty industry. Another consideration is that since you are an employee and you are under a corporate salon and they're your employer, I just said that. You can't really do freelance work outside, especially if they already offer that service. So, for myself, I love doing freelance hair and makeup for weddings and prom and friends and family. I wouldn't be able to do that outside of the salon. I would have to book them to come to the salon. That's just a consideration. One consideration is that whenever you go to a salon, the clients are not your clients. The clients are the salon's clients. So if you were to move, you're not allowed to personally contact these clients and say, hey, I'm moving. What ends up happening is, since you're not allowed to have that direct contact and make the initial contact with your client that you're moving salons or whatever, the client will typically call the salon, and the salon will say, oh yes, I'm sorry, she's actually not in, but we can get you in with another stylist. So they're not going to tell your client where you went. They're going to just try to convert them to another stylist. So you lose a lot of your clientele because you're not allowed to make that direct contact. One consideration is if you like to do the bare minimum in life or whatever in your job, you might not want to go work for a corporate salon. Corporate salons are really about numbers and high traffic and doing stuff as fast as possible, and you got quotas you got to meet. There is no let me just spend all day perfecting somebody's hair. In my opinion, they really care about getting clients in and getting them out. It's all about traffic and numbers and conversions. Corporate salons like that. So you have quotas you have to meet, and if you are falling behind, you could be cut hours, you could go down to part-time. You have to work for your position there, which I ain't mad about it. It's just a consideration for people who like to do the bare minimum, or maybe you don't mind about making a lot of money, you just want to do it because you love doing hair. You got quotas you gotta meet, okay?